I got brand new Control Resonant gameplay and info that I can share with you. For one, this can be your entry point into the franchise. No prior knowledge is required as we play a new main character, Dylan. One new thing I learned is that at any point he can go to a place called the Gap, where we can completely alter the way he plays. But most of the time will of course be spent in the outside world of Manhattan, which should have way more visual variety than the oldest house of the first game, and also offer almost open world like freedom, although it works a bit differently. So lots to go over. Thanks to Remedy for inviting me to this digital event and sponsoring this video. Now Remedy does not want to call the game open world because there's still a linear path through the different zones of Manhattan, but inside these zones there's a lot of freedom. You can decide which path to take through these environments, which world quest or puzzle and combat activities you want to do, and exploration will be rewarded as there should be many secrets to find. They improved the world map over the first game, thank God, and don't want to fill it with icons, but only show a few worthwhile options on how to spend your time. One cool thing you already saw is that Dylan has a shift ability where he can move through gravity anomalies and basically change the ground under him. But he can also hover in the air, turn enemies to fight on his side and make use of his environment, so things that Jesse, the main character from Control, could do as well, but that is where the similarities stop. Control Resonant is a melee game first and foremost. Remedy also confirmed that Jesse is not playable in this game, although there are still some ranged attacks Dylan can do. The main goal of Control Resonant is in the name, going after former persons of power that are transformed into special bosses called Resonants. And we've seen a few of these already, and I think the melee combat really means that these boss fights will be way more personal and probably more memorable as well. Also because after defeating a Resonant, you can choose which ability you want as a reward inside the Gap. So anytime you're out of combat, you can press down on the D-pad to enter this dreamlike space inside Dylan's head. Here you make many important choices that impact the way you play, like again which ability you want to unlock after killing a boss. Now Remedy did not want to say if it was possible to still get the ones you did not pick, but we can try them first before deciding. And you saw summon mentioned here, so next to a pure melee build you can also focus on summoning allies that deal damage to enemies, which looks kinda awesome. There are also options to go for a more ranged build if you want, although no matter what you do, your melee weapon will be central to it all. Because even though Control Resonant is more close quarters focused, the core feel of Control 1's combat is still present. The game once again rewards aggressive play, as you actually need to hit enemies with your melee weapon in order to build up your ability resource, which indicated by this bar. With these abilities you can stun enemies and they can perform an execution, and an execution gives you a melee boost for a short moment, so you can build up your ability resource again. That's why using the scythe as a primary weapon form is smart in the summoner build, because with this you can more easily hit multiple enemies and build up the ability resource for those summoning attacks, while also being able to stay as far away as possible. So inside the Gap you can also pick that primary form for your aberrant weapon, the axe, dual daggers or the scythe, and can combine that with any of the secondary forms, the hammer, a nunchuck style staff and the so-called drill, with no info yet on what those combo enders are. So you can mix and match these. There are also talents, passive effects that give you a damage bonus after an execution, or more active ones like perfect dodge, which gives you a damage boost after timing your dodge correctly. I love how even these defensive moves and abilities give offensive bonuses. This is not a Souls-like where you have to read the enemy and react. No, we are in charge, and playing aggressively will be rewarded. And there should be more ways that will impact the way you play, but Remedy is keeping those things under wraps for now. I also got to see a new dialogue system that I sadly have no footage of, but we can now decide how to react to NPCs we encounter. Because even though the majority of Manhattan has been evacuated, we should still encounter some NPCs here and there, and our actions have consequences, although there's only one ending. Outfits are also back, and this time we can individually change hairstyles and gear. Again, sadly no footage of this. And they also teased a new type of respawn system for enemies. It feels like Manhattan will evolve over the course of the game, which should make Control Resonant more replayable as well. But again, they're keeping those things under wraps. When we know more, I will let you know. If you have questions, drop them down below. I will do my best to answer them. Click the link in the pinned comment for more info on the game and to support the channel. Subscribe, leave a like, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.